All right then, so basically this is our square box, and this is what we use for training. This is a Phantom 4 Pro, and of course it's a registered drone by Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. As you can see, it's registered as 5 Yankee 0031 Alpha. Basically what is used to, if you want to identify your drone, there's a UTM. It's actually an unmanned aircraft systems traffic management system. So basically it's a system which is called UTM, Unmanned Aircraft Systems Traffic Management System, and it's a one which actually is able to identify each and every drone that actually takes off.
Okay. So what are the basics in now preparing?
So basically, just before we fly, what we do is we have to do some pre-checks. The pre-checks are very important so that you can actually know whether the drone has any problems whatsoever. We start with the exterior checks. This is basically the exterior checks. And we go from motor to motor, just touching the surface, just to see whether there are any snags, any cracks. And of course, once you're done with that, then you come down to the landing gear. You also do that from left.
This is the landing gear.
This is the landing gear. This is the landing gear. Yeah. So you actually feel whether there are any cracks.
And this is important for safety.
It is very important for safety. And actually we do the checks for safety purposes. Then of course feel, of course if there are no cracks. Once you've done with the exteriors, and of course you come to your sensors. You can see sensors are fine. All right, then of course you come to your motors to ensure that you don't have any debris in the motors, to ensure that it's clean.
Okay.
And of course it's rotating nicely. And of course you have to do it in a fluid motion. You start from one point going round either clockwise or anti-clockwise. And probably you can try and see of course whether there is anything which is going to fall off.
Okay.
And of course there's nothing. So once you're done, then of course you do the interiors. So the interior is basically the battery compartment. And of course what you do is you just look, you see whether there are any cables which are cut. You also have to look at whether there's any corrosion. So once that is done, then you put it on the side. Then you get your propellers step by step. So you
check again.
Check on the propellers to actually see whether there are cracks, whether they are broken. They need to be smooth. So once that is done, then we need to come to now the drone right here. And we, like I said, we need to put the propellers onto the motors. And we are supposed to put them in a fluid manner, starting either going clockwise or anti-clockwise. And of course, silver, white on white, black on black. If you look at the motor, you can actually see there's a black spots. So basically,
this for the black one.
So that's for the black propeller, correct. So basically what happens, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put it inside like that, press and lock it. Yep. Now.
That's anti-clockwise.
Now, that is anti-clockwise. The next thing is hazards, is to identify the hazards that we have. Of course, we have tall trees, but of course, we will not be flying in the tall trees. We have electricity lines, just to note, but of course, we will not be flying into the electricity lines. We are just going to keep our operation just within where the area is cordoned off.
Okay.
We'll now be going to take off, and of course, with the aircraft, we need to be at least 5 meters away from the aircraft. Okay. This is a machine. We've done all our checks, everything is fine. So what we're going to do is we're now going to switch on the drone. Make sure your controller is on.
Okay. So your controller should be on first.
Your controller has to be on first.
Okay.
Then you come and press. You press the button once. So once that is done, you can actually see that the light was red.
Okay.
And now it's green. That means that the remote control and the remote piloted aircraft is connected. If you look below the motors, you can actually see some lights flashing. So what we're waiting for is we are waiting for the drone to get its to locate its GPS.
Okay.
So that in the event that we have an emergency, once we press return to land, it should be able to come back to its position.
Come back to its position.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So our last thing to do, get your remote, ensure that it's on GPS. You actually have to you try and use GPS to actually take off.
Okay.
Then of course the last thing is situation awareness. Is there anything? Look around, check to see that everything is fine. Okay. Then with these two controls, what you need to do is power the drone. Yep. Then of course check again, situation awareness, everything is fine. And of course when we're training, we say taking off, and we take off.
And I've seen you lifted it vertically.
Yes. Basically, this is a multi-rotor, and with a multi-rotor, it usually does a vertical takeoff. And of course, if it's a fixed wing, we usually have it, taking off from a runway. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for the fixed wings to come. We've actually ordered for a couple of fixed wings so that we can actually train our drone pilots. So if we tell the student to roll right, they are going to roll right. Yeah. If we tell them to roll left, they're supposed to do that. Yeah. So these are simple maneuvers, but it's for them to familiarize themselves with the controls.
Okay.
So they can even go forward, back. That one is actually done using the right control. Now, when we move to the left control is basically for lifting the drone. So if you push this control forward, then the drone ascends.
Okay.
If you push it downwards, the drone descends.
Okay.
Now, this is the tricky part. If you want the drone to turn to the left, which we call yawing, yes, we would hold the left control and turn it left, and it would just yaw to the left. Yeah. And of course, vice versa, if you want it to yaw to the right, then we would push the left controller to the right, and it would yaw to the right.
What are some of the mistakes one can make and maybe cause a crash or an accident?
Of course, one of the things is attention to details. What do I mean? You really have to be very attentive. You have to be very attentive. You have to watch your drone. And of course, you have to keep your drone on visual line of sight. You must see your drone. And as per regulations, going away from yourself, it's a distance of 500 meters.
500 meters.
Yes. And of course, going up, you only go at an altitude of 400 feet.
Okay.
But that does not mean you cannot go further. All you just need to do, you need to apply to the regulator, who is Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, requesting to go further or to go higher. But of course, that comes with you have to say why you're doing that.
Okay.
Why do you want to do that? Yeah. So basically, it comes with its own complexities, and these are some of the things that we actually train. So by the time you're leaving the school, we've actually panel beaten you nicely, and you can actually go to the outside world and start your missions.